Welcome to Rooted Realities, where honest talk meets soulful insight. This podcast will guide you through life's ups and downs, offering clarity, courage, and a gentle reminder to give yourself grace. I'm your host, Christmas Miller, holistic health practitioner, life coach, and spiritual mentor. With each episode, I'll blend ancient wisdom with modern insight to inspire you to stay accountable and empowered. So if you're ready to grow from the inside out, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Christmas here, and thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about what it really means to start again and why so many people struggle with it. At some point in your life, no matter who you are, what you do, or where you live, you'll find yourself starting something new or starting over. It's the starting over version that tends to feel the most frightening, all depending on why you got to do it. And that's why I'm talking about it in this episode. But my hope is that what I'll share today will help support you and your journey. So let's talk about it, starting over. Because it's as old as humanity itself. Ancient cultures across the globe have always reflected this truth. From spiritual traditions to sacred texts to the cycles of nature itself, the pattern of death, rebirth, and renewal has always been part of life. So starting over isn't weakness, it's a necessity born from natural or forced change. It's part of the design, always will be. But somewhere along the way, the mechanics of who gets to start again changed. And then society reinforced the idea that you needed permission to do it. Permission to self-correct, permission to grow, permission to improve, and permission for your starting over to be acceptable to them. Unfortunately, a lot of us out here are still waiting for that outside permission to start again, waiting for the right sign, waiting for the chaos to calm down, waiting for somebody to tell us it's okay to walk away, to shift gears, to want something more than survival. Or worse, letting someone else decide whether we even deserve to start again in the first place. Yeah, that's a real thing, and it happens every day, whether people realize it or not. We also wait because we're still trying to prove we've earned it. Other times, we're scared that starting again means we fail somewhere along the way. And if you've ever been told that your mistakes disqualified you, or worse, that just being you was the mistake, then yeah, the idea of starting again can feel like a setup, like you're going to be judged just for trying. And let's be raw and honest about something. There will always be somebody out there ready to judge you for shoes they don't even walk in. So if they're going to judge you anyway, give them something worth judging, something you can stand behind, something that becomes a template, a reflection others can look to and say, damn, maybe I can try again too. And let me remind you of something, you beautiful, beautiful human being. It is your birthright to learn and expand. Most importantly, to learn from anything that didn't go how you hoped. That's literally the point of making mistakes, for those of you who don't know. Embrace them and learn from them, but don't go out here to make a career out of it. And let me say one last thing on this, and I hope you hear me clearly. And I want you to embrace it if it resonates with you. And that is, starting again can feel vulnerable, but it's not weakness. It's recognition and awareness of what you are entitled to. Let me say that again. Starting again is recognition and awareness of what you are entitled to. It's the moment you stop waiting for outside confirmation to do what is right for you and decide to trust the quiet voice that says, "This ain't it," or "This is it," and now's the time to take action. So starting again isn't always some bold, empowered choice. Sometimes it's survival, grief, or that quiet decision to not keep betraying yourself, even if nobody else gets it. There will always be more than one way to start over. And no matter how many times it's required, I promise you something. You'll never be the only one doing it. So maybe you're already there, starting over because life ripped the rug out from up under you. Maybe it was a breakup, a layoff, a diagnosis, or a betrayal that gutted everything you thought was stable. Or maybe you're starting over because you've outgrown where you are. Nothing's technically wrong, but it certainly doesn't fit anymore. And pretending it still does, well, that's its own kind of pain. Sometimes starting over means walking away from what's familiar because it's no longer authentic or true for you. Like the role you've been playing, the mask you wore, or the people who preferred you shrinking as long as you didn't outgrow or get ahead of them. And sometimes starting over means confronting the fact that you haven't let yourself dream at all. You've been functioning, just living, but not the kind of living that feels true to you. You've been managing, coping, grinding, but not truly living. And now, something in you is saying, this isn't enough anymore. This just ain't gonna cut it. And you should listen to that voice. But sometimes starting again isn't just about making decisions. It can be about the obstacles that's standing in your way, the stuff you didn't ask for, but still have to navigate. Because there's another kind of starting again. This is a little bit deeper. It's the kind that doesn't come with a clean slate or a true fresh start. It's the kind that reflects an uphill beginning shadowed by bias, by systems, and by judgment that distorts the entire experience. Like the people who are judged just for existing, for being the wrong race, gender, or background, for holding beliefs that make others uncomfortable, beliefs that challenge expectations or question the status quo. Or some people who can be seen as too much before they even open their mouths. Or others who are dismissed as not enough before they even begin. And still, they try. They rise. They show up anyway. They keep reaching for something better. That kind of effort and courage, it deserves space. It deserves respect. And it certainly don't need anybody's permission to start again. But sometimes, even after all of that, you're starting over with nothing. No plan, no savings, no support, not even an idea of where to start. But you know you can't stay where you are. And in that moment, that might be the only thing you know for sure. And that's okay. So when I reference starting over or starting again, I am referring to moving forward, but also with the awareness of what you're leaving behind and why. Because before you move forward, you need to face what's been keeping you stagnant and both own it and accept it. Own the role you played, accept what happened, even if you would have chosen differently today. Accept what happened. That's how you truly get free. You're not just saying goodbye to a job, a relationship, or a version of your routine. You're saying goodbye to the identity that formed around it, the story you kept telling yourself so you wouldn't feel the full weight of disappointment. You're saying goodbye to the comfort of predictability, of a false sense of security, even if it came with pain. You're saying goodbye to the pressure to stay likable, digestible, or unthreatening. You're saying goodbye to the guilt of wanting more when others expected you to stay the same. And in some cases, you're saying goodbye to the version of you who tolerated all of it. But now, you're allowed to choose something else, even if it means walking into the unknown, even if it means disappointing people who benefited from your silence, your effort, or your self-abandonment. Real peace doesn't come from staying small. It comes from honoring who you're becoming, not just who you've been. And that choice right there to move forward, it doesn't always feel good in the moment. Yeah, it sounds powerful, even exciting. The idea of starting fresh can put a little pep in your step. But depending on what triggered your new beginning, it can also be messy, uninspiring, and straight up exhausting. Like no one around you really understands what you're doing or why. And it can feel unstable, like trying to plant roots in shifting ground. And it can feel scary, especially when there's no confirmation that the risk will be worth it. And even when it's your decision, all you, when you know deep down it's the right move, you might still grieve what you had to leave behind. You might second guess yourself. Most likely you will. And you might even go back to something familiar, despite knowing it won't work for you. You might even stop sharing, get quiet, not because you don't have nothing to say, but because you're still trying to make sense of where you are now. And all of that is part of this process too. This isn't just about empowerment, because I do want you to feel empowered. More importantly, it's about staying true to yourself through uncertainty, especially when clarity doesn't come easily. And if that's where you are right now, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing it in the right timing for you. So keep going. There is light ahead. Remember, starting again doesn't mean you failed or that you're back at ground zero. And even if you're starting from scratch, you don't owe anybody an explanation. Starting again means you're choosing truth, your truth, even if it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or different from what people expect. And it means you're recognizing that beginning again doesn't erase your past. Matter of fact, it honors what you've learned from it. So you're not beginning from nothing. You're starting with clarity, self-awareness, everything you've carried, survived, unlearned, and remembered. So let's stop acting like starting again is some kind of bad detour, because it's not. Actually, it is the path, just the brave one, the real one, the one you finally walk on your terms, because you don't need permission to start again. Not from your past, not from your people, not even from the version of you who didn't know what you know now. People will question what you're doing. It's okay. It happens. Maybe you might too, several times, and even that's okay. But deep down, you know when a chapter's closed, even if it didn't end the way you imagined. So, no matter where you are on this beautiful planet, whether you're standing in the wreckage or you're sitting at the edge of a decision, or maybe you're about to walk into the unknown, just remember this. You don't need anybody's permission to start again. You just need to live any next chapter you choose in ways that are true for you. Thank you for listening to Rooted Realities. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really helps others find the show. Your support is greatly appreciated. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook for more updates and new content. Until next time, stay rooted and keep growing.